Okay, so as far as these essays are concerned, it's
Yes.
not actually an essay, it's writing a critique.
Got it.
All right. So when we say that you are supposed to write a critique, you are
Mm-hmm.
basically supposed to comment upon the elements of style and elements of persuasion of a writer, elements of style and
And persuasion.
elements of persuasion.
Got it.
Okay. So what exactly are these and what exactly are you supposed to do? Before watching a movie, what do you usually do?
Like read the review or something.
Exactly, exactly. And in the review, what do you see? What do you usually get in the review?
Like a summary of like what the book is about. I'm sorry, the a movie is about.
Yes. So when you read the review of a movie, you get to know about the star cast.
Yes.
You get to know a little bit about the story.
Yes.
You like get to know about a little bit about the the locations where the shooting happened, so you get to understand the kind of sceneries or various locations where the movie was shot.
Yes.
You also get to know anything special about it, like for example, if there are some special effects or if it is mm, special dances are there,
So like
let's say,
or
or
like
actions are there, or if it is based on some suspense thriller.
got it.
So you get to know all these things by reading the review. All right.
Yes.
And usually, when you read the review, these review writers have a certain style of appreciation.
Okay.
All right. And their writing is actually very, very attractive. You kind of tend to read the whole stuff the way they write it.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Got it.
They arrange it in such a way that you kind of end up reading the whole stuff and you get the whole picture very clear in front of you. This is
Mm-hmm.
what we call as writing a critique. And when we write a critique, we talk about two things. What are they? They are elements of style
And persuasion.
and elements of persuasion. So style and persuasion. So what do you mean by style? What do you mean by persuasion?
So style as in like the devices that they use, like simile, juxtaposition, all of those. Like
Yes.
their
So
tone,
devices they use like juxtaposition, simile,
tone.
tone, choice of words, which we call
Yeah.
as diction. Sometimes they use hyperbole.
Yes.
Sometimes they use euphemism. What is euphemism?
Making things like happy. I'm not sure.
Yeah. You are able to guess it. So euphemism is making lighter of something. Like
Okay.
if something is very harsh, or something is very, like for example, if somebody is limping, so
Yeah.
instead of saying that he limps, you call it in a little subtle manner that he had a peculiar way of walking,
Oh, okay.
was not able to walk straight. So you're using some kind of milder term to talk about something which is bad, which is so that's what euphemism is.
Got
Okay, so a lots of them, and we'll study in detail. So this is what is element of style, right? How,
it.
of course, organization of the passage. How has the writer written the passage? How he started, and how he ended the whole passage. These are the devices which we call as the elements of style.
Got it.
And then comes the elements of persuasion. So when we talk about elements of persuasion, you know about them? Have you heard about ethos, pathos,
Oh
and
yeah. Yeah.
logos?
Yes.
Oh, you have heard about them, which is fantastic. So what are these?
Like ethos is okay. Ethos, I forgot. Pathos is emotion and logos is the use of facts. Ethos, I think, is credibility. I'm
Yeah,
not.
yeah, you're right. Credibility or ethos is something related to the culture,
Oh, okay.
and history of a place. So, if something has been going on for many years, if it has got very deep roots, as you rightly said, credibility,
Yeah.
something which has been followed for so many years, we call it as ethos. And then there is pathos, which is appeal to emotions, and
Hmm.
logos, which is appeal to logic. So basically, to persuade a person, these are the things we use to sound authentic or to make sure that the person understands the idea. Let's say I want to persuade you to take vegetarian diet, to become a vegetarian. You are already a vegetarian, but if there is somebody who is a vegetarian and I want to persuade him about, somebody is a non-vegetarian and I want to persuade him about eating vegetarian food. So what will I do? How will I go about it?
Okay, so for ethos, you could say that like, oh, like most of your culture, say like India, majority of the people are already vegetarian. I'm not sure.
Yeah, so we can connect it with religion, we can connect it with culture that, if you go to
Or
India, most of the people are Indian. Yeah, you're right.
you can we also say like, oh, like this famous person is also a vegetarian? Would that count as
Yeah, so that will also bring a little credibility to it. This famous person like Amitabh Bachchan is a vegetarian,
yeah,
or maybe Gandhi ji was a vegetarian.
got it.
So that's ethos. What about pathos?
Like show a video of like those, I don't know, show like a video
Yeah,
of
you
like
can show
some kind
videos of all those chickens farming and those farms where all the chickens are kept, and sometimes because of some pandemic, all of them die together and
of
they are like neck to neck up to the wall. They don't even get enough space to move, and
yeah.
sometimes they are kept in very bright light just to make sure that they keep on laying eggs. They do not sleep.
Yeah.
They are starved so that, because it is generally believed that if they starve, they give more eggs,
Oh.
something like that, because they become a little irritable and they keep on giving eggs.
Mhm.
So those kind of
Yeah.
things. And
Got
then you can talk about logos, which is like you can talk in terms of numbers, that so many diseases, so many people out of X number of people who carry cancer, catch cancer, Y percentage were
non-veg.
all non-vegetarian. So you will make some logic out of it.
Got it.
From Pathos perspective, you can also talk about, make, to move a person emotionally, you can talk about something which is related to mercy and kindness and
Yeah.
those things. So
Got
basically, you'll find that all these writers extensively use all these elements of style and persuasion to
it. Oh,
persuade the readers about various aspects of whatever arguments they carry.
yes.
Now, what I'll do is I'll take you straight to the essays and we'll do a few essays together. Actually, we are going to do a little bit of cheating today. We will read the question as well as the answer together. The purpose is to just get you oriented on it.
Okay,
So,
yes.
this will give us a chance to know how to write an essay,
Mm-hmm.
and uh, I'll be able to orient you towards the steps to write an essay.
Awesome.
So, a set essay, um, set essay, Khan Academy. Khan Academy. Let me just open it and then I'll share the screen.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm there. So I can share the screen now. Share screen. Here it is. So basically, this Khan Academy has given very, very beautiful explanation of the whole essay and what are you supposed to do. They've
Yeah.
given some examples also. So what to expect and how to write, all those things are there, which I'm leaving for you right now. We'll
Mhm.
straight away go to an essay and we'll see some samples there.
Yes.
Okay. So as you can see here, there is an essay, We'll
Yes.
first read it together and I'll tell you what are you supposed to do. I'll tell you the step-by-step process that you should follow while writing the essay. Can you see my screen right now?
Yes.
It says example 1. These sample SAT essays are provided by College Board. The
Yes.
creators of the SAT, they include real scored student responses with an explanation of each score. So this
Yes.
is a complete essay along with the score. This is
Got it.
how the essay prompt will look like. This is a
Yeah.
standard structure. They will say,
Yeah.
as you read the passage below, consider Paul Bogart uses evidence such as all this, such as examples, support claims, reasoning to develop ideas, statistic or persuasive elements such as word choice or appeal to emotion. So basically, they are asking us to find out those elements of style and persuasion
Yes. And
used by this writer. So
yes.
far so good. Now what should you do? Should you straight away jump into the essay and read it, or you should read something different?
I'm guessing read something different.
Yeah, you should read something different. So you should go straight to the end of this rather than reading this. You should
Oh,
go
it
to the
gives you like a summary, right? Say how the author uses like
no, no, no,
pathos
no,
or
not
like
even that, not even that. I'll tell you this part, the last paragraph will tell you the agenda. What exactly are you looking for? So
got
you
it.
should read this part first.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you read this part, please?
Write an essay in which you explain how Paul Bogart builds an argument to persuade his audience that natural darkness should be preserved. In your essay, analyze how Bogart uses one or more of the features listed in the box above, or features of your own choice, to strengthen the logic and persuasiveness of his argument. Be sure that your analysis focuses on the most relevant features of the passage.
Okay. Can you see what is his agenda from this?
Okay, so yeah, so he's talking about natural darkness and how it should be preserved, and he's persuading you, right? So he's saying that this is something that should happen, and then you want to write about how he uses the elements of persuasion or stylistic choices to
Perfect, perfect, perfect. So what do you expect? Why should darkness be preserved? What would he talk about? Any
like
guesses?
how it can save energy,
Yes.
um, and then how like it has lots of benefits.
Health benefits probably
Yeah.
that when it is dark, probably people usually sleep and there's a
Yeah.
direct relation between the hours of sleep and your health.
Yes, and then it's probably talking about how like many countries are already doing it, like say like good.
Cheating, cheating, you've read it.
No,
Okay.
yeah,
So how other countries are already doing it very good. What
um,
else?
um, they how was that like
Plus
what?
probably he will so if I have to talk about appeal to like credibility and culture, so I may say that the life originated in dark inside the sea. It
Oh,
was pitch dark where the life originated. So for the
yeah,
purpose of for sustenance of life, darkness is very important. So
yes,
I'll make a case out of it for the origin of life. In order to talk about money, yeah, this is logos and pathos. I can talk about other creatures. I can talk about how darkness is so very important for animals and birds also.
oh,
So
okay,
for the survival of all the animals, this is required. So I can make an appeal to pathos like that.
yes,
You know. So
yes.
fine, we did a little bit of anticipation or some guesswork, and let's now read the passage.
Okay.
Okay, can you read the first paragraph, please? Here it starts. So
Okay.
it says, adopted from Paul Bogart, Let's There Be Dark. In this year, he wrote it, and it
Mm-hmm.
was published in such and such newspaper or something.
Okay.
So let's read the first paragraph and see what's going on here.
Okay. At my family's cabin on the Minnesota lake, I knew woods so dark that my hands disappeared before my eyes. I knew night skies in which meteors left smoky trails across sugary spreads of stars. But now, when 8 of 10 children born in the United States will never know a sky dark enough for the Milky Way, I worry we are rapidly losing night's natural darkness before realizing its worth. This winter solstice, as we cheer the days' gradual movement back toward light, let us also remember the irreplaceable value of darkness. So he's like giving a small anecdote of like,
Yes, very good. Personal anecdote. You are very good. You are able to focus and you are able to tell it. This is fantastic. So this is where he's talking about his personal experience or anecdote.
yeah.
Perfect.
And
And
also some logos, like when like,
yeah, a little bit of logos.
and like so with Pathos, because like they'll never know a sky dark enough for the Milky Way. I
Correct.
worry we're rapidly losing the night's natural darkness. So that's where
Correct.
it's,
Correct. If we talk about style, there is a juxtaposition as well. He's
yeah.
comparing two scenarios
Oh yeah.
where there is an old scenario and the current scenario.
Exactly.
So people feel that pain of losing something here. And yeah,
Yeah.
great. So this is the first paragraph. Then if it so basically he has used some pathos, logos, and this juxtaposition here. Let's go to the second one quickly.
Yes. And all life evolved the steady rhythm of bright days and dark nights. Today, though, when we feel the closeness of nightfall, we reach quickly for a light switch and too little darkness, meaning too much artificial light at night spells trouble for all.
Hmm.
Okay, so this is giving like a little bit of facting, like you mentioned before, how like all
Hmm.
life has evolved
Yeah.
from dark, and then
Yes.
it's also saying how he like worries that
Yeah.
yeah.
Correct. Let's go to the third one quickly.
Already, the World Health Organization classifies working the night shift as a probable human carcinogen. At the
Hmm.
American Medical Association has voiced, oh, and the American Medical Association has voiced its unanimous support for light pollution reduction efforts and glare reduction efforts at both the national and state levels. Our bodies need darkness to produce the hormone melatonin, which keeps certain cancers from developing, and our bodies need darkness for sleep. Sleep disorders have been linked to diabetes, obesity, cardiovascular diseases, and depression. And recent research suggests one main cause of short sleep is long light. Whether we work at night or simply take our tablets, notebooks, and smartphones to bed, there isn't a place for this much artificial night in our lives. Okay, so he's using lots of um, logos are saying that like say like American Medical Association, World Health Organization, which are very big, credible names,
Yeah.
are saying that this is bad, and then he's also like saying giving a little bit of pathos because it's saying like if we don't we need darkness because otherwise disorders happen, cancers and
Yeah.
things,
But
depression.
principally, it is logos and I'll say pathos more than logos
Yeah,
because it's making us when we talk about diseases, when we talk about suffering, when we talk about cancer, it's
yeah,
about feelings. So
yeah,
he's trying to evoke that feeling of fear in us by telling all these names of dreaded diseases which are caused by light. So yeah, that's the agenda here. So okay, this was the second paragraph. Now let's go to the third one.
The rest of the world depends on darkness as well, including nocturnal and crepuscular species of birds, insects, mammals, fishes, and reptiles. Some
Hmm.
examples are well known: the 400 species of birds that migrate at night in North America, the sea turtles that come ashore to lay their eggs, and some are not, such as the bats that save American farmers billions in pest control, and the months that pollinate 80% of the world's flora. Ecological light pollution is like the bulldozer of the night, wrecking habitats and disrupting ecosystems several billion years in the making.
Hmm.
Simply put, without darkness, Earth's um, ecolo- ecology would collapse.
Hmm.
Okay,
Like the
so
bulldozer of light. So when you are comparing with something,
simile, yeah, simile.
so you are making a simile here. So his depiction is very figurative. The choice of words, the language is all uh, uh, very what do you call animated description of how other creatures are also dependent on darkness. He talks about 400 species of birds,
Yeah.
and I use using a little bit of hyperbole here. Ecological light pollution is like the bulldozer of night.
Yeah. Wrecking
So we
habitat.
can call it as a hyperbole.
Yeah. And then the juxtaposition of light and dark, it's very interesting because normally light
Yeah,
is put as a good thing and dark is supposed to put as like the evil, but then here it's
yeah,
like the opposite kind of like light is disrupting or wrecking habitat. And,
yes, 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 yes. So there is a little bit of what you call paradox here,
oh yeah, paradox. Forgot
where he has used
light
yeah,
and dark.
light and darkness together. I think juxtaposition is something which is maintained all throughout. In every paragraph,
Yeah.
there is a reference of either a comparison between past and present, or light and dark, and animals and other creatures, and so on. So that is something interesting. Let's go to the next one.
Yet all over the world, our nights are growing brighter. In the United States and Western Europe, sorry. In
Hmm.
today's crowded, louder, more fast paced world, night's darkness can provide solitude, quiet, and stillness, qualities increasingly in short supplies.
Hmm.
Every religious tradition has considered darkness invaluable for a soulful life, and the chance
Hmm.
to witness the universe has inspired artists, philosophers, and everyday stargazers since time began. In a world awash with electric light, how would Van Gogh have given the world his starry night? Who knows what his vision of the night sky might inspire in each of us, and our children or our grandchildren? Oh yeah, so this is like ethos, I
Hmm.
think. Okay. Um, in today's crowded, louder, more fast-paced world, night's darkness can provide solitude, quiet, and stillness qualities. What is that? He's also doing using imagery
Yeah, vivid imagery is used.
um,
Yeah.
and in religious tradition. Yeah. Um, who knows what this
So in
vision?
order to appeal to people who are a little artistic in their temperament, this is an appeal to them that darkness is uh, uh, corresponds with artistic work, and it is conducive for artists to express their creativity through darkness. And so, yeah, he's making appeal to all these, like, what is this? How would Van Gogh have given the world his starry night?
Yeah. So like art. So since he like this is like one of the most famous like pieces of work.
Yeah,
So then like he's more appealing to artists.
correct. Yet all over the world our nights are growing brighter. So this is like a U-turn, and yet all over the world he's used this as a discourse marker here. In the United States and Western Europe, the amount of light in the sky increases an average of about 6% every year. So there
The
is
logos.
logos here.
Yeah.
Computer images at the United States at night based on NASA photographs show that what was dark a country as recently as 1950 is now nearly covered with blanket, so he's adding credibility by adding the name such as
Yeah.
NASA. Much of this light is wasted energy, which means, so he's talking about energy, space, and again logos. Those of us over 35 are perhaps among the last generation. So this is like making us feel the pain of what
Like
we are going to
pathos.
lose. So a little bit of pathos here. Even the northern lake where I was lucky to spend my summers has seen its darkness diminish.
Oh, that's like the way it ended. What is that? Is it like darkness diminish? It's another device, right? I forgot what's.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
It doesn't have to be like this. Light pollution is readily within our ability to solve. So now he is moving on to solutions.
yes.
So there is a clear transition from, so up until now he was all painting the gloomy picture of how too much of light is affecting the world, and now
Yeah.
he's talking about solutions and what people can do.
Got
Already
it.
many cities and towns, as you said, some efforts are already taken by Europe and other countries. Other communities are finding success with simply turning off portions of their public lighting after midnight. Even Paris, the famed city of
Like
light, which already turns off its monument lighting after 1 a.m. So he's giving a very prominent example here. So all the things he say are all backed up by some very uh,
Like evidence.
yeah,
Yeah.
prominent evidence or examples. With this, summer start to require its shops, offices, and public buildings to turn off their lights after 2 a.m. Though primarily designed to save energy, such reductions in light will also go far in addressing light pollution. But we'll never truly address the problem of light pollution until we become aware of the irreparable value and beauty of darkness we are losing. So, very artistic depiction of the beauty of
Yeah.
darkness and the choice of words,
It's
the
like
placement of.
personification or something.
So right from choice of words to organization of paragraphs to the theme of every paragraph to how he uses juxtaposition and appeal to emotion, appeal to logic, appeal to culture and ethics, ethnicity of the place. And so he like a master weaver. So you use these terms like a master weaver of thoughts, and
Yeah.
he is able to put forth the he is able to uh, advocate the importance of maintaining darkness throughout the passage. Okay, now this is the last one. Okay, this is finished. All right, so let's do a little bit of cheating now. Let's go straight to the answer. So these are the you can score 4 4 4 on the three items here. So out of 12, so there are 3 points on which you are evaluated: reading, analysis, and writing. These are the three heads, and in both of them you can score out of 4.
Okay.
So which is the best one here? Medium, high score. Let's go straight to high score. There's the same essay, and there is a student response. Where is student response? Oh, gone.
It's very short.
Because of light pollution, the student response has gone.
Yeah.
I will have to switch off my lights to see this, it seems.
Yeah. It'll
I
be
don't know
good.
what is the problem here.
Should I check?
One second, let me just click it once again. There might be some ghosty issue.
Maybe it's a glitch in the website.
Maybe. Yeah, here it is. This is a high scoring.
It's a different essay.
One. Yeah, this is a different one. God bless you.
Thank you. Oh yeah, each different essay has a different exam. Like, oh here, wait.
Yeah, this is a student response, but this is a medium one.
Oh, mine's
And
open.
set
I
essay medium scoring student example 2. Set essay high scoring example 1. So let
mine
me go here.
opens up. Yeah. I think mine's loading. I can see it now.
Is there some problem with mine? Or you are able to see it on your laptop, is what you're saying?
Yeah. Yeah. Should I share my screen?
Yeah, that will be good. This is student high scoring student example 1, right?
Yes. Let there be. Let there be time.
Oh, okay. Okay. 1 second. So let me stop this. I will allow you to share. Participant share screen. Yes, now you can share.
Okay. Awesome. Um, in response to our world's growing reliance on artificial light, writer Paul Bogard argues that natural darkness should be preserved in his article, Let There Be Dark. He effectively builds his argument by using a personal anecdote, allusions to art and history, and rhetorical questions.
So this is like a beautiful small introduction to the whole thing, where
Yes.
he is He just mentioned those things in a very precise manner.
Fine.
Now let's go to the second paragraph.
It's like the first thing is just like setting up like what the essay
Yeah,
was.
exactly. Just setting the agenda.
Fine. And then Bogart starts his article off by recounting a personal story, a summer spent on a Minnesota lake where there was wood so dark that his hands disappeared before his eyes. In telling this brief anecdote, Bogart challenges the audience to remember a time where they could fully immerse themselves in natural darkness, void of artificial light. By
Yeah,
drawing in his readers with a personal encounter about night darkness, the author means to establish the potential for beauty, glamour, and awe-inspiring mystery that genuine darkness can possess. He builds his argument for the preservation of natural darkness by reminiscing for his readers at a first-hand encounter that proves the irreplaceable values of darkness. This anecdote provides a baseline of sorts for readers to find credence to the author's claims.
yeah. Irreplaceable value of darkness. So he's able. I mean, this person is taking one thing at a time and making one complete paragraph on it by recounting a personal story. So here it was personal story. Let's talk about this. Go to the second paragraph.
Bogart's argument is also furthered by his allusion to art, Van Gogh's Starry Night, and modern history, Paris's reputation as a city of light. By first referencing The Starry Night, a painting generally considered to be undoubtedly beautiful, Bogart establishes that the natural magnificence of stars in a dark sky is definite. A word absent of excess artificial light could potentially hold the key to a grand, glorious night sky like Van Gogh's, according to the writer. This urges the readers to weigh in the disadvantages of our world consumed by unnatural, vapid lighting. Furthermore, Bogart alludes to Paris as the famed city of light. He then goes on to state how Paris has taken steps to exercise more sustainable lighting practices. By doing this, Bogart creates a I don't know what that is.
Dichotomy.
Dichotomy between Paris's traditionally alluded to name and the reality of what Paris is becoming. No longer the city of light, but more so the city of light before 2 a.m. This furthers his line of argumentation because it shows how steps can be and are being taken to preserve natural darkness. It shows that even a city that is literally famous for being constantly lit can practically address light pollution in a manner that preserves the beauty of both the city itself and the universe as a whole.
Yeah. So basically, he's talking about art and then transitioning to the solutions that some of the cities have already started preserving darkness, and he gives, I mean, he highlights Paris as a very strong example there.
And then finally, Bogart makes subtle yet efficient use of rhetorical questions to persuade his audience that natural darkness preservation is essential. He asks the reader to consider what the vision of this night sky might inspire in each of us, in our children or grandchildren, in a way that brutally pays to each of our emotions. By asking this question, Bogart draws out heartfelt ponderance from his readers about the affecting power of an untainted night sky. This rhetorical question tugs at the reader's headstrings. While the reader may have seen an unobscured night skyline before, the possibility that their child or grandchild will never get the chance sways them to see as Bogart sees. This strategy is definitely an appeal to pathos, forcing the audience to directly face an emotionally charged inquiry that will surely spur some kind of response. By doing this, Bogart develops his argument, adding guttural power to the idea that the issue of maintaining natural darkness is relevant and multifaceted.
So if you look at this, uh, one second, there is one more paragraph there. Writing as a reaction to his disappointment that artificial light has largely permeated the presence of natural darkness, Paul Bogart argues that we must preserve true, unaffected darkness. He builds this claim by making use of a personal anecdote, allusions, and rhetorical questioning. So if you look at this, he has not taken everything into account. It's actually, he has just taken three things, which
Yeah.
are personal anecdote, allusions, and rhetorical questioning. So this is something which is very important. You're not supposed to talk about everything there, just a
Okay.
few things in a very nice way.
Yes.
So this is something that you can do while doing it, while writing an essay, that you
Yeah.
make an agenda of just 2 to 3 things,
Okay.
not of everything, like
Yes.
appeal to emotions. Uh, uh, See, he has not talked about those health related things in the whole thing. He has ignored it.
Yeah.
So a few things are sacrificed in order to highlight a few other things,
Mhm.
and it's not necessary that you should ignore them, but then yes, you should definitely highlight the most important points. They should get the maximum space and attention, and other things can follow or sometimes just discard it, because you've got
Oh,
limited time there. You're not supposed to write a very long critique on this. Uh, Highlights must be highlighted.
got it. So like here he found that like the what is that, the anecdote and the allusions to like all these three different paragraphs made the
Yeah,
biggest impact. So like
yes,
whereas we
yes,
could also do like how the author uses logos to like um
yeah,
or like an effect on pathos to scare the audience about the thing, and like the juxtaposition of actual darkness. Would that also count? Say if we
yeah.
use
So, yeah, you can talk about multiple things, but you should make an agenda of primary. Otherwise, if you speak about everything, it
yeah,
it
it's all over
loses
the
that focus, and the
yeah.
reader does not get to understand what are you trying to say.
Mhm.
So it is important to pick up only a few things, like the way a critique writer writes. He does not try to write about everything. He talks about 2 to 3 things which are the key things in the whole writing, and
Yeah.
they are about it. It could be some other key things also, like for example, if in a movie comedy plays a very important role, then he
Yes.
would give, first of all, talk about comedy, then he would talk about, let's say, take an example of Three Idiots. So
Yeah.
comedy, and then choice of careers. Have you seen Three Idiots?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Multiple times.
comedy and bonding between friends, and third thing probably could be appeal to
Mystery.
emotions.
Yeah. Yeah.
So those things can play. I mean, these are the 3 things, and under these 3 heads, you can write the whole movie, and taking certain incidences from here and there, you can depict the whole movie. Similarly here, so whenever you read it, you should ask yourself, what are the 4 key things? Not everything. What are maybe 3 to 4 key things on which I can make one complete paragraph? So
Got
okay,
it.
I'll talk about logos, and these are the places where he's very number oriented, and these numbers really appeal to us a great deal. Then he is appealing to our emotions, and then he's maybe using personal anecdote and juxtaposition to, so basic, yeah, you get what it is. I mean, you're not supposed to talk about everything, just two
Mhm.
to three key things which the writer has used according to you. There is no one correct answer here. Everybody would may pick up 2, 3 different things there.
Yeah.
So that's what it is.
But like he effectively like because like the like I see what you're saying, because he since he focuses on these three topics,
Mm-hmm.
um, it's supposed to create a bigger impact because like
Yes.
he's going into the details. Because I remember when I also took my diagnostic test, I like tried to focus and add everything to the essay that in the
Yeah.
end it was all over the place.
Yes. 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 So what I want you to do is, I want you to write this essay itself as a homework. So
Okay.
you would be doing a little bit of cheating, which is fine, but
Mm-hmm.
the whole point is that you would have something to back on, to fall back on, and you can read and then answer. The purpose is to use the same kind of structure, the same kind of phrases,
Mm-hmm.
verbiage, how he has written, and yeah. So this will be a very good practice.
Okay.
So this is something which is not very difficult, I think. It's like quite pretty straightforward, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. I was like intimidated by the essays before, but then it's actually pretty easy. Like if you just because like you mentioned, there are two things that the author tries to use, like stylistic features and persuasion. And
Yeah,
then like once you realize that there's like this trend, you can see how they're using that on
correct, correct.
so they just have an argument and they're trying to just tell you like they're just trying to
Yes,
come across the argument like at
yes. And follow this sequence. Do not read the essay first. First
Okay.
read the last section, so it will straight away tell you what is the agenda. Let's take
Yeah.
a few more examples from this.
Okay.
um, Sat essay 2, maybe example 2, high scoring. If you
Okay.
go to the, I think this is the same passage.
This one's
No, this is
about
a different
American
one. This is a
arts.
different one.
Okay.
So go down, further down. This is the task. So if you read it, you will get to see what is happening here.
Yeah. So write an essay in which you explain how Dana G builds an argument to persuade his audience that the decline of reading in America will have a negative effect on society. And you're okay,
Yeah,
so
this is the
reading
agenda. Decline of
decline,
reading.
yeah, and then strengthen in logic
Yeah,
persuasiveness.
all this is standard. So all these essays would have the same structure. Just that, reading this, so it will talk about why, I mean, how decline in reading is going to affect people. So, reading habit. If people are not reading, obviously a lot of things would happen. People
Yeah,
would be, it would affect the
illiterate.
intellectual development of people, and probably the loss of reading could be a big loss to the books and the industry of writers
Yeah,
also, if people do not read. And there might be general decline in civil behavior. If people are
yeah.
not inclined to read, they would more
It
uncivilized.
yeah, and the economy could also go down as like the
Yeah,
person
yeah.
is less illiterate.
It could also lead to uh, loss of reputation, where
Yeah,
people start looking at a country as a country of maybe illiterates or people who are not very academically inclined. So, yeah, those things. So he would speak about all those things here, like what is the cause. It could also be related to causes, like why people are doing it. I
yeah,
think there might be a paragraph where they talk about electronic instruments, where people have started using mobile phones and these screens, and there could be, he could talk about negative implications of them and compare it with books. So there
what-
could be some kind of comparison there, and then there are responses on this. So now you know the crux of it, what you're supposed to do and how you're
yeah,
supposed to go about doing it.
yeah.
So yeah, let's take one or two more examples. Is there any other?
Not really, just one and two. Maybe there's an
Two?
essay glossary.
Yeah, I think these are the two there. If you can just click on the first tab, the top one above this.
Oh, this one?
Yeah. Hmm. Sat content format, go down if there is something specific to essays, math,
About
Sat essay strategies, about the Sat essay. Yeah,
oh
just give me 1 minute.
yeah, no.
Yes, so
Um
if you could click on about the Sat essay, yes, they'll give you a complete detail about what are the various. Yeah, just click on that. This is the one where they talk
do you
about
want
all
to share
those things,
your screen?
juxtaposition and all those elements of style, elements of persuasion. There is a complete
Okay.
what to
Yeah, it's just
expect. Go to this what to expect, top one. Go down like a video tutorial. Next article.
like next article, the overview.
Yeah, so this is what it is. What's the assignment and how are you supposed to go down 650 to 750 words that
Yeah,
will read and then respond.
yeah.
Yeah, go down. So they have given an example here, like these are some standard verbiage of the essay, that this part would always be there, stylistic and persuasive and all this.
Yeah.
Go down,
Um,
further down, let's say. Yeah, what are you supposed to do,
yeah.
Explain how the author built the argument to persuade the reader. You need to identify the points like elements of style and elements of persuasion. Go further
Okay.
down.
And then here's a sample
Yeah,
passage.
here there is a sample passage. Foreign news one. This is also one sample which you can read.
So then write an essay
Yeah, and
about
this is the part.
inflation. God.
Profession, yeah, old, just like foreign news reporters, what is their contribution? So if we have some foreign news reporters, how they help us.
Got it.
So there are two examiners who are going to check your essay. Each of
Okay.
them will give you marks out of 4, 4, 4, which means 12 plus 12,
Yeah.
overall 24. The
Oh,
first one will also give you out of 4, 4 and 4. The second one will also give you out of 4, 4 and 4. So 4 is for reading, 4 is for analysis, 4 is for writing. So
got
each of these examiners would be giving you marks out of 12. So 12 from the first one, 12 from the second one will make it 24, and their average would be your total marks.
I didn't like say out of the essay you only get like 1 point, right? Like that will add to your full SAT score, or it
Correct,
won't add to your SAT score that
correct,
much.
correct. So you would be getting, like, for example, let's say 4, 4, 4, which means you have got full marks, or maybe
Oh,
4, 3, 3, or 3,
yeah,
3, 4,
yeah,
like that. On 3 points: reading, analysis, writing.
got it. And is
Reading
it
means,
like,
did you read the whole stuff? Yeah.
is it hard getting in this? Like, is the most common like three? Like three is an average kind of.
Yeah, I mean, with a little practice, people get to 4, 3, 3, 3, 4, 4. That kind of score is very much possible.
Wow.
Because, yeah, how you write it, you saw that, the right, the responses are quite well structured. The choice
Yeah,
of words, the
yeah,
way it is arranged, so it flows in a very nice way. So that is why I ask you to read and write first, so you can use some samples and the standard verbiage of those essays, and then you'll develop your own style. You will know how to put it across.
yeah. I agree. So yeah, over for homework, I'll just do the same essay, like,
Yes.
and then maybe do like three different points, or just write by my own,
Yeah.
the way I view it. And then maybe next
Just
class.
go to the next article also. I just want to
uh,
quickly take you through the whole thing. Again, next article.
One more.
I'm not able to find out what I'm searching. Just cross this. There's one page where they have included all those things related to hyperbole and this and that, everything which is required. Just give me one. Hello? Hello? हेलो. मैं फिर से लगाता हूँ, आवाज़ नहीं आ रही. हेलो. या. Unpacking essay prompts, that essay, analyzing a passage. Yeah, this is the part.
Unpacking.
Analyzing, yeah, essay prompt, and yeah, analyzing the passage. हेलो. हाँ क्रिश. कुछ मेरी क्लास चल रही है, मैं तेरे को फिर से लगाऊं 2 मिनट बाद? Yes.
Yeah, so this is like them breaking it down, breaking down
Yeah.
the. So I can look at this also.
Yeah, emotional appeal, more data, conclusion, and all those elements of style and persuasion. Writing, you go down. Writing your essay, introduction, data, evidence, everything which is required to write an essay is written there. But I want still, they have given a complete breakdown of what is a hyperbole, what is a euphemism, what is all that.
Um, yeah, maybe it's
Set essay overview,
glossary.
scoring.
Like
Glossary. This is the place. No,
yeah.
ethos, pathos, logos. Yeah,
Mhm.
this is what I was searching. I'm glad that we found it. So, they have given examples of what is ethos, logos, which is numbers or appeal to logic,
Got it.
pathos, and all those terms, diction, like choice
Yeah,
of words, and then,
imagery.
yeah, everything is
Got it. So I'll work on this and then
yeah, just
like
go through.
review.
Yes.
Also,
Just yeah.
yeah. So go ahead.
So just write one essay, the one which we have discussed, the same thing. After reading 2-3 times, write the same essay and send it to me.
Okay. So that's it for today, I guess.
Pardon me?
Oh, is there anything else that we
No,
have
no,
to?
no, no. We are done.
Okay.
Except
Also,
yeah.
Raju, sir, I will be able to have a class on Friday.